Don't miss your chance to win big on the Zone every week. This week on Win Tickets Wednesday, you can win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Ultimate Sports Bash at the Mountain America Expo Center on July 12th and 13th. Listen to the Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. DJ and PK, we're joined now by Josh Doan, Utah Hockey Club forward and winger. Josh, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, guys.
Josh, is it normal to be introduced as a member of the Utah Hockey Club, or does that still sound odd right now?
No, that's got to be the first time. It's pretty cool.
All right, Josh, let's get this out of the way right off the bat. I love you, and I'm going to tell you why I love you. You grew up in Phoenix. You went away, played for Chicago. Then you came back, and in 2022-23, you were the captain for the Sun Devils hockey team. And I'm quoting you at the time. I think it's a super special experience to not only play college hockey, but to play for your local team that you grew up cheering for that school, whether it was football, baseball, or basketball. So that was an unbelievable opportunity. Josh, you don't know this yet, but you will know it and you will learn it. You are talking to a proud Sun Devil graduate, Josh.
There we go. Yeah, it's always an honor to play for the Sun Devils. It might not be the team of choice here, but it was an honor to play for them and a fun little experience.
Now we're going to, my partner DJ, I told him to take a break because it's just you and I now.
I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
Breaking.
And I would listen when I go to the gym. You know, I went to high school at Thunderbird on the north side there and went to ASU and all that stuff and lived there, got married there. My wife's a native. And so when I go to the gym, I listen to the station down in Phoenix sometimes, and your dad was a part-time radio personality. I want to make sure people know that Shane Doan, he was basically Mr. Coyote, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he was involved a lot with the Valley and with the radio. He was always on in the mornings when we were going to school and stuff like that. So it was always funny listening to him in the car. But yeah, he kind of built the foundation in Arizona for a couple of years and built our family there.
All right, now that we have that out of the way,
we're just getting started.
We can resume our regularly scheduled programming now that we got the Thunderbird High memories out. I am curious, though, seriously, because people do want, once the team is here, the newness is great, but they want the team to win, and they want to go to the playoffs. And you guys missed the playoffs again this year, but in the introductory press conferences here, a lot was made of the fact that when the news broke, there was this 14-game stretch where the team was just a mess, and the team had a pretty good run, and the team finished pretty well as well, but it just really went south. How emotional was that, and did it impact you even more than most players because you did grow up in Phoenix and you did play at ASU and your dad had been on the club, and so you just have more ties than the average Canadian who came from whatever small town and ended up in Phoenix?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things, right, where there's a lot on everyone's plate to begin with, and then when you throw that on top of it, it adds a little bit of stress and pressure, and it's something that the guys handled well. And outside of that little stretch where it got frustrating at times, but it's one of those things where, like you said, before that and after that, it was a really good year, and we got a good young core that is excited and wants to win now. So it'll be a fun year for us and the fans.
Yeah, and the fans will be jacked for it, as you know. Anything that's new and brand new, people love brand new. You got a little bit of a taste of that last season. You played in 11 games, tallied 9 points with 5 goals and 4 assists. How important was that for you to get some NHL experience and be able to build on it? Yeah,
it was an unbelievable experience to get in there and get a good start. And obviously when you get a start like that, you want to make an impression and try your best to stick out a little bit. And I was fortunate to be put with 2 pretty good players, and they gave me an opportunity to do that.
Josh Doan joining us, Utah Hockey Club. The roster, do you anticipate that it's going to be, I mean, there's always some change, but do you expect, because it's a young group and because you did have those good runs at the start and end of the season, do you expect that most of the group is going to be back this season?
Yeah, I think there's a big core here that is kind of expected to all be back and make an impact right away. And it's the same kind of core that they've been building and years. It's been exciting. Everyone's getting to know each other for the last couple of years and growing together. And it's one of those things where it's similar to kind of what the Jazz are doing with they got a young core coming up, and it's one of those things we just got to ride it and see what happens.
I listened to a podcast that you did, and you said you had a little experience with the Salt Lake area because when the season was over, smartly, you'd get out of the valley in the summer. That was good thinking. And you would head north up to Canada, and you'd come up I-15 and maybe spend a little time in Salt Lake, whether it was a day or get something to eat or whatever. Could you speak to that?
Yeah. I did it a couple weeks ago. It's one of those things where you get out of Arizona, get out of the heat, and Salt Lake City's the halfway mark from home and where the cabin is. So we'd always make our stop here, and it's beautiful always, and it's just a nice quiet spot to slow down for a bit and take your time off the drive. But it's always been a city that my family and I have loved when we'd stop by.
How much is having a dad who plays an advantage? Because you get to talk hockey as a young kid, and maybe you know a lot of stuff that there's no way else anybody else could know that about the NHL unless you got the NHL in the family. And how much was it a negative with pressure and expectations because you did have the family name and the dad in the NHL?
Yeah, it's one of the things where that is probably the biggest advantage is getting to talk to him about everyday things in the game and getting to talk to him when you're struggling and whatnot. But there's always a little bit of added pressure when it comes to that, just because of who he was and how much and how long he played for. So it's one of those things where there's pros and cons to it, and you just take it day by day.
How about the fact that there was a lot of swirling going on with the franchise for a number of years in the Phoenix area, and where were you going to play? And you play on the west side, and then maybe a field or a little spot of land over there in Scottsdale off the 101 and all that stuff. And it seemed like, it was minimally disruptive, maybe even turbulent, depending on your view. Here you're going to come in, and it looks like you got ownership that's fully committed, and it's going to take whatever it takes is what's going to happen as this franchise builds and a practice facility and all that stuff. Just the fact that stuff has calmed down, how much do you think that can help the team?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things where growing up there was, you said, twirls of the team moving and talks of everything kind of going on throughout the past couple of years. And it's one of those things where it makes it hard on players, and it makes it hard on staff and people to bring players in, because no one wants to go to a place that they aren't for sure it's going to be home for the next couple of years, and it's hard to get free agents to sign. So it's one of those things where you have that advantage again of having a home and knowing it's going to be home for a long, long time, and now you can build off of that. But that was just something that you never had the opportunity to do in Arizona.
Josh Doan joining us from the Utah Hockey Club. I'm curious, what was the reaction from the players when they had the welcome at the Delta Center and they put the ice down and they had the stage and the fans showed up? When it was all over, what did you guys talk about? What made an impression?
Yeah, it was hearing from the guys, one of those experiences where to receive a crowd like that, getting off the plane and then going in and having a sold out crowd. It was one of the things where they all enjoyed it a lot. And it's unfortunately me and a couple of guys missed it to go play in the minors for playoffs, but every guy that was there said it was amazing, and I mean, it made everyone feel a little bit special coming into that kind of scenery.
My experience over the years in covering a little bit of hockey, because of the way the seasons align, that almost everybody is a golfer. Is that the case for you?
Yeah. We're playing. Me and Dylan Gunther about to play around here this morning in Salt Lake City. So it should be fun. And I've been playing as a kid, so it's one of those things. I think it just goes hand in hand with hockey.
So you love the golf in Utah? Altitude, feeling pretty good off the tee.
Yeah, the ball might fly a little farther here.
Where'd you play in Phoenix?
I grew up playing in kind of everywhere. I think the big, like the TPC Scottsdale.
Nice. Both of them? I'm assuming both of them.
Yeah, both of them. The Phoenician's a good one, too. There's a couple good courses in the valley to get out to.
Yes, there are.
There's some new stuff down in St. George, PK, we'll talk to you about.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, there's and a PGA Tour is coming in October to Black Desert. I mean, it's going to be a real PGA Tour. Yeah, it's Black Desert's a new course that'll been opened up a little bit over a year. I got one other thing to tell you about. There's a MLS, Major League Soccer team here in town, Real Salt Lake, and you're going to love this, Josh. As a brother that we are, we're now brothers, as you know. Their coach, Pablo Mastrioni, grew up in Phoenix, played high school soccer there. Not only high school soccer, Josh, but played it at the same high school that I barely graduated from. How about that?
No, school.
Thunderbird.
Oh, no way. Well, there you go.
That's pretty much what I say every time they come on and start talking about the Taco Bell.
Jack in the Box.
Whatever it is, where everybody hangs out, and that's where you go to meet the girls and hang with your buddies on a Friday until the pavement just gets too hot. And they've literally stood out the same, what was it, McDonald's?
Jack in the Box.
Yeah, whatever.
On 23rd and Thunderbird.
It's nonstop.
This guy's an idiot. You'll learn that for yourself, Josh.
I am a complete idiot, Josh. You should learn that right away and just get that down pat, and then you move on. All right, well, you and PK can meet over time and just find out all the places that you hung out in Phoenix and have the memories of. And so, yeah.
Perfect.
He drops Phoenix knowledge on us on a regular basis.
Go Devils!
It's awesome. Honestly, when you said you drove up here, I was surprised he didn't ask if you came over the lake or if you went through Vegas or whatever. So, which way? 89?
Well,
past Lake Powell?
Page or Vegas when you drive up. Do you go up through Page and Lake Powell, or do you go up through Vegas?
I went through Page and Lake Powell.
It's a little shorter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
He left out the part where he went to NAU for 2 years, but that's part. I guess it's not part of the family-friendly part of the pack.
Well, you got to drive right by it practically.
We'll forget that part.
and I got a teaching certificate from Grand Canyon, so I'm all over the state, man. The Grand Canyon.
You can get as many different schools involved as long as U of A stays out of it.
Josh, I knew you were going there, and absolutely, I have since a youngster, I have hated with a passion the University of Northern Mexico.
Exactly.
He's made that joke like 3,657 times. The University of Northern Mexico is coming to town.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. He's from Phoenix. I'm an idiot. That's really all you need to know about this show.
Sounds good.
All right. Last thing before we let you go, I am curious, as a younger guy, do you know anything about the guys in the draft? Is there any paths you've crossed, anything you know, any tips you can give? There's a party at the Delta Center tonight. There'll be hockey fans there watching the thing on TV and roaring with anticipation as we get to pick number 6.
Yeah, it'll be a fun night. There's a couple kids that have played in the same junior spot as me, and a couple other kids that have gone the college route that I've played against or with, and it's one of those things where it'll be an exciting night, and it's always fun when you get an opportunity to hear your name get called and kind of live out a childhood dream. So it'll be exciting tonight, and Dylan and I are excited to be in the Delta Center to support them.
All right. Well, Josh, we'll look forward to seeing you play in the fall, and I know a lot of fans look forward to seeing you tonight. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us here and spending half the time on Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Josh Doan, Utah Hockey Club, forward and winger, join us right here on The Zone. Another Arizonan. You feel good about that, don't you?
Yes.
The more people from Arizona.
Well, he's a local guy. I mean, not local anymore, but, he played there, and his dad was a legend there, that's for sure. And people love to identify, obviously. And here's a kid that you have an opportunity to identify as he grows up. He played 11 games last year. He's just barely getting started. I think he's, 22, 23 years old. And obviously he's got a little bit of sense of humor. I mean, that's what made Joe Ingles so relatable, right? Is he was a regular dude, even though he was an NBA player. And that's how this thing needs to build, is getting the guys out and finding out a little bit about who they are. And it's just silly stuff, but it makes them human.
DJ PK, I really don't think you can underestimate that. People want that. They want that. They want their team to win. I guess you can be anonymous if you win big. But if you're not winning big, people want some time.
And people are going to be buying Josh Doan jerseys. He's a second-round pick.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight, right? They sold a lot of Jazz merchandise Wednesday night. I assume they're going to be selling a lot of Utah Hockey Club merchandise tonight.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit different in that, I've been in Vegas a million times. I had family there and had to go a million times when the nights were getting started. They didn't have the Jazz. They just had a lackluster UNLV program. But the amount of Golden Knights stuff, merchandise, gear that you saw, it was like every 20 feet, maybe a move away from the Strip. But I don't spend a lot of time on the Strip when I go there, out just in the regular areas of the community, and it was dominant. And I don't know that it'll be as dominant because we do have the others here, but it's going to be pronounced.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. David Locke, radio voice of the Jazz, will talk draft and NBA trades and free agency with us. Coming up in about 15 minutes, he's here at the top of the hour. And Kevin Graham in studio for an hour that ought to be fun. We're looking forward to that. Kevin Graham is back, at least for a little summer vacation. We'll talk with him at 9, David Locke at 8, right here on The Zone.
And now, a look